This is Lee with 82 Gamma 12 on YouTube channel Sons of Liberty 75, video 4, Redvers Reverse, the Battle of Colenso. So, I've had a few comments. Came out in 2016, and they had talked about having a series of games. I know that's brought up in the rules. I guess it's in the designer notes, maybe. And so people responsible: original design, Jeff Noble; design development, Godfrey Bailey; counter art, Nut Grunitz. He does a lot of work for the Library of Napoleonic Battles, Zucker. Map art, Randy Lean. Proofreading, Metcalf and Holm. So we are on turn 5. The Boer confidence is at 7. British loss is at 12. And if the confidence or the, confidence,
unknown caller.
So if the Boer confidence is shaken a second time, the Boers withdraw, and the breakthrough attempt ends with a British victory. If the confidence mark has reached box 1 on the turn and status track, turn 5 or later, the Boers withdraw, and the British have the victory. If the loss marker has reached box 20, or the game turn marker has reached box 20, the Boers do not withdraw, and it ends with a Boer victory. So and your level of victory, if you're able to get a victory, is determined by how many losses you have. All right. It's taken a little bit of time to get our forces to get in position. We've got, let's see, well, we've got most of the units in position, except for the mounted units led by Major General Dundonald, who's here. And it took a while for them to decide to accept the orders and move out. So And I thoroughly suggest that you go to that board game platform and download these cards. And like I said, it's just going to come as a, you copy it off. I guess if you have the ability to copy it off on a card stock, that's fine. But you can get a deck of cards really cheap. And that's all I've done. And I just cut out the card after I printed it. And I just got these cheap card holders, protectors, and then just put a card in and put the cutout card, and that gave it stability. So there's actually a backside. The individual that did the cards has actually done a backside too, and I didn't want to do that, so I didn't. All right, so first off, we have an event. And we don't have any event tokens already, counters, I guess you call them, in play presently. So, all right, so we have Long gets moving. That's going to be Colonel Long. Let's see what that means. Probably it's on here, probably. Let's see if it's on here. Yeah, there it is. So if Long with artillery brigade objective unless failed to Long's closest South River area, Long gets moving. Token stays on him until arrival or objective fails. So let's see what the actual sheet says on here. Okay. If Long is killed, remove the chip from play. Any one brigade of batteries in the same area as Colonel Long will, together with Long, move towards the river. Place that brigade's objective marker in an area bordering the river, which is close to Long. If Long will move towards the river, place the chit on him and remove it from play when it arrives. If not, return the... Let's see. So I don't know, does that mean he just moves to the closest... What happens if he's not with? Any one brigade of batteries in the same area as Colonel Long will, together with Long, move towards the river. There's nobody with him, though. Okay, so I guess he's just going to move to the one closest to the river, which is going to be this one. back up here. So here he is. There's the closest one. So do we go ahead and move him? Is that what it says? Okay, we just keep the chit on him, and he's going to move when it's time to move. Okay. Next. So we have command points, but we don't need, well, we could use command points to change an objective. For example, we've got Major General Littleton here. We want him to actually go here. He can't cross the river here. I guess he can move over here and go across. We've already got that one opened up. But we've got Hildyard doing that. So where is his... So we want to change their objective. So we get 3 points because Buller is here with the British headquarters. So we've got 3 here if we want to, like, we want to change some objectives. Okay. So we've got that. Okay, so now we can issue orders. Spend 1 command point for Buller, or if Buller's dead, an operative headquarters to place 1 brigade's planned objective marker up to 5 areas away from its leader until you had no command points left. Towards Ladysmith is a legitimate objective, but drifts and bridges are not. Okay, so we're gonna put it there. So the light planned objective is here. So that's 1. And then over here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's quite a ways away. But if we put 1 here, we need to get moving here. So let's move their objective up here. Are you able to place them? It doesn't say you can't. All right, so what we want to do is we want to hopefully get around through this drift here and be able to get up to Ladysmith that way. So, okay, and then this last one, I don't have anybody that I really want to, so that'll just go there. Okay. So now we have to roll to see if the orders are received. So to do that, we have this card. Okay. Okay, so from Bueller to Littleton, we've got 1, 2, 3. So with 3, we're going to roll here 2 dice. I got a 7. Okay. Lost on 9, 10, 11, 12. Otherwise, brigade's objective on turn +2. So we take this light of the objective itself and put it 2 turns ahead, which goes to 7. Turn 7. Okay. All right. And then, so we've got this one. And then for this one over here, this is actually going to be 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4-way, rolled a 6. So same thing, it's going to be 2 turns ahead. Well, that's not the planned objective. Where's the planned? All right, so that goes to 7. Okay. All right. So that's taken care of. React to orders, we don't have that yet. So we're going, let's see. We have emergency withdrawal. We don't have any of that to do. So let's see here. We should have got a card here out of place. Somewhere. That ain't it. There it is. No, it's rifle fire. Well, where's the artillery fire card at? Oh, there it is. It's stuck behind. So we've got artillery fire, bore artillery fire. We don't have the bore guns misfire. Let's see, where do you draw? What did I do? Okay. So yeah, we don't have that card. So each battery fires once. So we've got a battery way over here, but it has a range of 3. So 1, 2, 3 here, but not across the river. So the only other battery is right there. So and if we pull back just a little bit, we can look to see what the targets are. Okay, so range is 3 areas away. So we don't count the drifts unless someone's actually in it. So 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we've got those there. We've got 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So we've got several targets here. Let's use the orange, a little easier to see. So 4 targets that they could fire at. Okay, so priority areas. So no one's in their area. And then we look at the 5 areas along the northern red edge of the map. Okay, there's not anybody, no targets in that area. That's this here. Okay, we're just going down this list here. That's also over here on this side chart that's over there. Okay. Other areas north of the river. Okay, and then finally areas south of the river. Okay. So that's what we have. We've got this unit here is not along the river. So priority is going to be these 3 here, not this one. Okay, so selection, they fire into a single area. Okay, so we take our plots, and you're going to randomly put these plots in these different areas. So there's 3, so we'll put 2 in each. Okay, let's roll the dice to find out where. Okay, it's going to be 4. So we just have to find where's 4 at. So that's 1 and 3, 5, 2, 4, right there. So here's the target. And what do they want to fire out of here? Well, actually, they've got this guy in this drift. That's who they're going to fire at. Got a better chance of hitting him. He's in the open. right, so we made the selection. Preparing. We have to remove the hidden placement marker we've already done. So we draw a strength unit. Oh, a -2. Uh-oh. Okay. Taking aim. If the area contains, I guess, more than one British unit, so it says +2 per battalion. If area contains, I think this is like, so we use this single attack here. Trying to figure out this. If the area contains British unit, stacking equals 0. +2 per battalion, +1 per regiment, +1 for one or more battery. But we're just attacking that drift. So all right, so if we look here, okay, we don't have the multiple attack. We don't have +9. We don't have 9 or more stacking points. The present SP of the unit, it's 3 -2 is 1. Okay, they're not disrupted or suppressed. The target's not in the same area. The target's not routed. They're not in close order. They're not mounted, but they are in a drift. So that's +2. So we have a +2. And then you have the 1 strength. So we've got a total of 3 that's going to be added to the die. And we got a 2. Oh, no, we got to roll 2 die. Okay, so 5. And that's going to be 8. Shield fire. Okay, so that's disrupted. That unit is disrupted. All right, that's the only attack. So we're just going down the list here. So the other ones that I passed by, so you had reduction, which we don't have. We have a morale adjustment. Here's the morale. We don't have to roll for morale because we didn't take a loss, strength loss, or unit wasn't eliminated. That would be other units in the same area. Confidence. So we don't have any of that going on. No one was eliminated or no one took losses. So let's see, is any boar unit? Yeah, okay. So now we do recovery for the boars. For each unit with low morale, +2 if there is an emplacement in its area, +1 if no adjacent areas contain British units, -1 if its strength is reduced. And so we're going to roll 2 dice for each one of these units that are just their morale is affected. So there is an emplacement. Okay, so we got a +2 for the emplacement. And so we rolled 2 die. And we got 8, 9, 10. So the unit recovers with an 8 or more. So this unit recovers. Now we go to this unit. Same thing. They get a +2. I got 8, 9, 10. So they recover. All right, so that's all of their recovery. Now we go to the British artillery. We don't have the British guns ammo shortage. Each battery fires once. No battalion or regiment fires in this segment. British units target areas, but they fire at specific units. Oh, I'm picking up the wrong one here. Flip it over this way. All right, so range. A battalion or regiment with normal morale may target boars in their own or neighboring area, but here we are with the batteries. May fire at boars up to 2 areas away. Suppressed may only fire at boars in their area. Limbered may not fire. Do not count drifts or bridges unless the unit that you're firing at is in the drift or bridge. Okay. Viable targets. No British unit will target areas already containing a multiple attack marker. Any other area that is in range and contains a boar unit is a viable target. Line of sight is never an issue. All right, so let's find our viable targets. All right, so we've got 2 units here. So we'll mark this one blue. Okay. And so 2 hexes away, they're going to fire, they can fire right there. That unit is no longer hidden. Oh, I still have that on there. And this other unit, they can actually fire, let's go with green, here. So they can go here, here, 2 areas away. All right. Then we have these units are going to fire together, and they're going to fire here. Okay. And then we have over here, we've got this unit. It's going to fire here. And over here, oh, they haven't unlimbered yet. Okay. All right, so now we've got all of our targets. So we've placed, okay, we haven't placed those yet. Okay, so what we have is we have a single attack here. We have a single attack here. We have a double attack here. And then we have a no, let's see. Yeah, we have a single attack there. Okay. Units from the same brigade may fire into different areas, but each unit fires into a single area. If a second unit fires into an area with a single attack marker, replace the marker with a multiple attack. Okay. Aiming. These rules apply mutus mutandis to battalions, regiments, and artillery. Units target areas, but they fire at units. You fire in the order you choose. Each battery, battalion, regiment can fire once. And then there's all the die roll modifiers. Okay. And I have those of them. I'll show you those. But let's go over here first. So we've got this 65th Field Artillery. It's firing here. All right, so it's just a single attack marker. They have a strength of 6. They're not disrupted or suppressed. They're not in close order in close combat. They're not mounted regiment in close combat. They're not in the same area. Okay, the unit is not routed or drift or bridge hex or a brush or heel hex. Yeah. Yeah. And let's see, they are, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. We got to go up here. They are in placement, -2, but not in a hidden marker. So that means we got a +4. So, all right, so we rolled a 4 and a +4 is an 8, so it's disrupted. Okay. Moving on along here. So now we're target the 63rd, which is the green cube, up here to Swaziland. And they are in an emplacement. We got a strength of 6. They are in, what terrain is that? Where's my terrain? Okay, so that terrain is rough. All right, does rough show up on here? And brush or heel, not rough. Okay. So the only thing that's going to apply is the -2 for the emplacement. So once again, we got a +4. 7 plus 4 is an 11. 11, oh, it's suppressed. So this unit is suppressed. Okay. What is this white doing here? Okay. We're going to have a strength of 6. And since it's multiple attack, that adds 1. So now we're at 7. They're in an emplacement. That's -2. So we're going to have a +5. Ooh. I got an 11. That's going to be a 16. That's going to be suppressed. Okay. And then from HMS Terrible, they've got 6. And we're going to actually fire at this unit here. So you got to pick. We're firing into that area, but we have to pick which target. So that's going to be a strength of 6, -2 for being an emplacement. So we got 5. No, that plus should be a 4. 6 -2 is 4. So we've got a 9, which is going to be disrupted. Now, okay, we did the firing. So we got that taken care of. We did the reduction, which we didn't have any, because we don't have reductions with artillery fire. And we have morale. We didn't have any eliminated or lost strength units. Okay, so now we have movement. So batteries cross river on bridge, regiments and battalions also at drifts. So routed units move first. Brigades may move by left-hand order. In starting order of battle, brigade leader has shortest route toward objective marker. If they have no objective marker, no move unless routed or emergency withdrawal. Okay, units use less than or equal to their movement points towards or in one area of the leader. And at least one unit must end leader's area, so forth. All right. So let's start over here. See if we have any moving to do. All right, so they've got to get to that objective, so they've got to flip this over. All right, so they've got to have a 4 or less on 2 dice. And I got a 9. So with a 9, We remove the brigade's planned objective and objective markers. All right, so that's removed. Couldn't find the drift. All right, so then remove here, and let's see, I think these guys just want to stay where they're at. Okay, so a disrupted unit so he can move to there. This guy would move into there. And then we have units up here. The railroad bridge may not be entered. Now the other bridge we can cross over. So this unit can move to that hex there. And we can attempt well, I guess we'll wait. I guess we'll just wait there. Could have checked that drift. Let's move back here to the mounted guys. Donald, 1, 2. So he was here, 1, 2. And then these horses, 2, 2. These guys are just sitting there. Okay. Long gets moving. 1, 2. Put that back in there. Okay. So we've taken care of our movement. Okay, assaults. Unrouted regiments, battalions assault Boers who share their area. Okay. So the only one that we've got sharing an area is right there. So we've got this unit that's disrupted. So we've got commandos open fire. We're going to do the orange. Stands out. All right. So Boar strength. Two. Okay, so they're up to 4 now. Strength of 4. Okay. And they are suppressed, so that's -2. Same area as the target, that's +1. So we're at 4 -2, take the 2 away, +1. So we're at 3. Oh, they just got a 1. So that was only a 4. Okay, so now the British fire, they've got a strength of 4. They're disrupted. That's -1. So now they're at 3. They get +1 because they're in the same area. So they're back to 4, but -2. So they're going to be sitting at 2. Let me go over here to the assault. Oh, wait a minute. As this is a close combat fight, modification for terrain and any emplacements do not apply. Okay, so no modifications. So they will have +4. Of course, I rolled a 1. So that's it. Okay, so we're done with assaults. Okay. We don't have any boar confidence to adjust. So then we look at the Boer event. And it is second group released. So let's see what second group release means. Okay. If a group limited, remove the chip from play. If there are 4 or less battalion or regiment strength points in the central frontline areas, the gray banner central upper, central right here. That's where the second, okay. If there are 4 or less, but 4 or less battalion or regiment strength points, well, we've got more than that. We've got 8. Well, yeah, 8 there. Okay. If it's not released, return the chit to the cup and go to the Boer sortie below. Okay. If a route of areas can be traced from an area with a commander of the group present to an area with a battalion present, it is eliminated. The route may not start, end, or enter any area with battalions or regiments. Okay. So, of course, this guy's here, so he's going to eliminate all of that. Okay, so we go to the next one. Place a suppressed marker on any British unit within one area of an area with a commando of the group present within 2 areas if one area is a drift or bridge. What's it? Suppressed? So we can suppress this guy. Okay. So that's the Boer event. Then we have Boer movement, but I don't have any we don't have that event chit pulled for the fourth group. So we don't have anybody that's released. Okay, so Boer rifle fire. So we follow the procedure in Roman numeral 1 through 10. Each commando fires once. No battery fires in this segment. They target areas, but they fire at units. All right. So range is going to be adjacent areas. Viable targets. So it's going to be the area in which they, the same areas themselves. Any area that is in range contains a British unit. Line of sight is never an issue. Priority is always their own area. Then it's going to be along the northern red edge of the map, Ladysmith. Areas north of the river, drifts and bridges. And then finally, areas south of the river. Okay. So we go across here. So we've got this unit here. They only have one target, which is going to be this unit. So we got a single attack here. Okay. We go here. Their attack is going to be here, of course. That's a single. Okay, now it could be this unit here could join in. Let's put the green over here. I got more orange blocks. Now if we have this unit add to there, okay, that would be multiple now. So we've got these two firing there. Okay, now this unit here is going to have to remove its hidden marker. And they're going to fire there. Okay. And they're going to get support. Let's just use the red. They're going to get support against that target from here. You can actually get it from this unit. So there we go. So we'll have to add a bore strength marker. Trying to figure out what this okay. All right, let's start over here. So we've got to draw for strength for this disrupted unit. Okay. All right, so they have a strength of 5. And they're disrupted. So that's -1. So now they're down to 4. +4. So it's going to be +4. Oh, rolled a 1. Nothing. No effect. Okay. Then we go here. So we've got that unit suppressed. This unit suppressed. So we're going to use this unit's fire strength, which is 5, +1. But we have to see, maybe they get more. Nope, 0. Okay, so fire strength is 5. Doing a multiple, that brings it up to 6. They're suppressed. So that's -2. So now we're at 4. Ooh, a 6. Okay, that's going to be a hit. That's going to be 1 hit. 10 is 1 hit. Okay. So that gives the boar confidence. And we're going to have to check morale later. And then we move to here. So we've got a 6 and a 7 here. Yeah, we've got 7. Plus 1 more is 8. Okay, so we've got a total of 8. And we're firing into a town. So that's -2. So it's going to be +6. And then 3 is 9. So that's another hit. We just flip this unit over. And boar confidence goes up. Like we have to check for the leader. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we have to roll to see if the leader is panicked or standing firm. So we roll 2 die. We're talking about hill yard there. I rolled a 6. So nothing happens. All right, then we have to check morale. And I get a +1 for being in Colenso. +1. So I rolled 9 plus 1 is 10. So their morale's unchanged. So then we go to this unit here. Let's see, where do they not have a morale? I'm sure they do. Should possibly had, because of close combat, you have some different modifiers for close combat, but I don't think any of them applied. Okay, so I guess you don't have any die roll modifiers if a unit is already suppressed or so forth. Now we do have a reduced unit in the brigade, so that means we have a -1. We rolled a 6. -1 is a 5. And that means that they are disrupted. But they're already suppressed. Says place disrupted on each unit in the brigade. But that's only for the units that are in that same area, right? Let's just check this out. So this is where things get a little just says roll on the formation morale table. Place disrupted, suppressed, or routed markers. If routed, remove close order. Well, there's not a route. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so not. But what if they're already, this unit's suppressed? Why would you lower the morale? See, it doesn't even say anywhere about, okay, if the unit is already has the morale, you just go to the next level if they fail. So, in other words, that unit really should route. And it doesn't have anywhere to route to because the drift is blocked. Yeah, there is nothing here about, okay, if the unit is already at a morale state, and you don't even have a modifier for being, see, it says brigade morale modifiers. Each reduced or eliminated unit in the brigade, okay, there's a reduced unit. Leader standing firm, leader panicked, brigade in close order, mounted brigade, a testing unit, battalion or regiment in the same area as Buller, +1, battery in same area as Long, -1 in a drift or bridge area, +1, okay, there. And so the unit's suppressed, but I rolled, see, there's no modifier. Why is there no modifier? The modifier should be there, like, okay, if you're suppressed, that's a -2. Well, okay, so what happens if a unit routes? What does it say? Do we have anything that's going to tell us about routes? About how far they go, what happens during a route? Okay, it says that when a unit exits a drift area, its morale level drops 1 level. I didn't do that. Okay. Suppressed units don't drop a morale level when they're exiting the drift. But I don't see anything here talking about route, how you conduct route. That's what I'm talking about with these rules. Let's see if it's here. There'd be over here. But it doesn't say how they route. So we got to move the loss marker. Well, we had more than one loss. I don't know if I moved it. Okay, so I guess they don't, when they route, they don't move until, let's see, where's the, do we have any route markers? Where are the route markers? I don't think they gave you route markers. Well, I'm showing route markers right here. Route. But where are they? Did I leave them in the box? No. Oh, they might be on the back of, see if they're on the back of this forward. Nope. Wow, okay. Oh, there's one. They're on the ones, I guess. Behind the ones? No, on some of the ones. Okay, so I'm going to put this unit as routed. Okay. So we got the bore rifle fire finished. Okay, so now we are going to the British rifle fire. So let's start over here. Both of those guys are firing there. So that's going to be a multiple attack. And I guess this one and this one. Gonna fire here. So that's a multiple. And then that guy's not going to be able to do anything. All right, so that's it. All right, so we start over here. All right, so we got a strength of 4 plus 1, so we're at 5 because of the multiple attack. Board target is an emplacement, so it's going to be a plus 3 because of the minus 5. And of course we rolled a 2, which is nothing. No effect there. All right, then we move to here. Same thing. He's in a emplacement. All right, so we rolled a 5, which is an 8, and the 8 is going to be a loss. Okay, so with that loss, let me find my cards. We can flip this one over. So we roll for their morale. They're reduced, so that's a -1. So I got 8, 9. 8 becomes 7. Place disrupted on commando. Well, he's already disrupted. I mean, he's already suppressed. I'm going to put a routed on him. I don't think they, I get frustrated here with when you've got some vagueness or you just got some completely there's no reference. And the whole fact that you're just telling the player to go look at the chart and try to just understand kind of irritates me. Okay, so now we have recovery for the British. And let's see, so the Boers lost. All right, so let's roll for recovery. Start here. So there's no Boers in adjacent areas, so that's a +1. And -1 if not at full strength, so it's just straight up. Rolled a 7. It's disrupted to normal. Okay, so they recovered. And then we have the routed unit here. Okay. -1 for not being at full strength. But there's no modifier for if you're routed. So -1, I got a 5. So where's it at? Got a 5. So they're disrupted. But they're already routed. But I'm not rolling. I'm rolling differently here. Let's see. 7. It's greater than 7. Disrupted goes to normal. Greater than 10, suppressed. So I guess it's just, okay. Greater than 11, routed goes to disrupted. Greater than 6, routed goes to suppressed, but we didn't, okay, so we didn't roll that. So they stay routed. So boar confidence. Okay. -1. If strength points of units with normal morale of 1 infantry brigade North River is greater than 50%. No. Well, we've got units all along here. So they have to be in. Okay, so we don't have any here. Let me pull back. There's no units here. So that's a +1. So 10. And also they get +1 just for lasting another round. Of course, they're not shaken. So then we just move to the next turn, which would be turn 6. Gotta put this back in here. I mean, there's really a lot to enjoy about this game. The one thing that is irritating me is the fact that the rules, and I know I'm like, I guess I'm harping on this, but gamers need to know about this before they go and purchase the game. You know, they need to know that, hey, the rules are a mess. This stuff about go look here, just explain it in the rules. Don't send me to a chart and expect me to look at the chart and figure out what the heck's going on. Because, okay, in combat, your morale can cause die roll modifiers. But when you're checking morale or trying to recover morale, there is no modifiers. And there's no explanation, say, if you fail or if you're in combat and you have to check morale and you roll and you get a morale result and you're already routed and you get another, or you just stay routed, or if you're suppressed, do you just stay suppressed, or do you move up? Do you improve? Just it's little things like this that like irritate me so much, because I'm trying to play the game according to the rules, but then I come across where there's no rule, and so I'm left like, well, you're in combat and you're already shaken or, you know, disrupted, suppressed, and you get another result. Or actually, what are you? You're disrupted. I don't know which one is worse. Okay, so suppressed is worse than disrupted. So you have regular morale, your normal, okay, combat efficient, whatever, you get disrupted, then you can get suppressed, and then you can get routed. Well, if you're suppressed and then you get a disrupted result, does that mean there's no effect? So you have to get a less morale? It doesn't tell you. So if you get like another suppressed, do you just, okay, you're already suppressed. And if you get something less, then you just stay at the morale you're at. You know, a unit that is already in distress, and anything else that can cause more distress would push them over the edge to the next level. And if that's not what you want, do a better job explaining it. And I guess that's their explanation, is just to not say anything. You know, by not even addressing it, you expect the gamer just to expect, okay, well, I guess you just leave them at the level that they're at. I thoroughly wish that they had done a better job with these rules, because this is really a neat game. It really is. There's a lot here for the gamer to have to use higher cognitive skill to win the game, to get a victory. One thing is, you're against the clock. You can't take too many casualties. You send orders, and sometimes they're ignored. And you want units to go here, but, you know, the leader is hesitant. And that, a lot of that has to do with, you know, the leader itself and what their leadership skill was. Whether they were aggressive or reluctant. There's just so much here that's woven into this game that makes this so interesting. And I'm telling you, without these cards, you're going to be pouring over trying to figure stuff out over here on the sequence of play and over here on this bore rifle procedure. And that's fine. But you're not going to get much help in the rules. They're too vague. And they're not organized very well. With the cards, you can play the game. I don't know that you can do that without the cards. I guess you can. But you're going to be looking over over here on this side and over here on this side and back and forth, when you can have it just right here. And I guess you could print off the charts that they have on the map. You know, you've got part of them over here, then you've got others over here, and I got some of it hidden here. I just wish, well, it would be nice if they would come out with a new rule set and clear everything up. Because I think they would get more sales. This game could be attractive to a lot of gamers, especially solo gamers like myself. And they could have easily added this too. They could have put this, these, come up with cards. They've got some really good ideas with the different chits. I call them chits, with the events and the strength modifiers for the commandos and the Boer artillery and the Boer events and some of this other stuff. When a unit is like released and then, they can move around. But what really detracts from this enjoyment of the game is the rules. And there's even some things here on these cards that I'm like, well, I don't understand that. And part of that is there's some modifiers that are on this, that are on here that you don't find. I'm trying to figure out. He's right here. Like, what's this +2 per battalion? Taking aim. Die roll modifier target starts at 0. If area contains, and it says, I guess, if the area contains more British units, okay, if the area contains more than the British unit, stacking says equals 0. So you get +2 per battalion, +1 per regiment, +1 for 1 or more artillery. If stacking is greater than 9, die roll modifier equals 2. So I don't understand, what is all this stuff here? We've got die roll modifiers down here. I understand those. I don't understand these. I guess it has to do with in the area. So this, but I don't understand what this +2 per battalion. Is that with the assault? So we've got this here. It talks about British assault segment. Unrouted British battalions or regiments only in the same area as Boer units must assault them. Okay, so the Boer commandos fire first and applying all normal modifications for terrain and emplacement. Any surviving British battalions or regiments fire second, applying all normal modifications for terrain and emplacement. But see, that's not what this, let's see. That's not what, let's see. When you're doing assaults, that's not, my understanding was, okay, you're not using, let me go to the assault one. That would be after movement. There it is. Okay, so we look here. Okay. Commandos open fire, follow their preparing and to confidence. British reply following aiming to morale. If British and Boers still share area, close combat. No modifications for terrain or emplacements apply. Commandos open fire So I guess you're firing again. So I didn't do enough attacking. So that you do exchange of fire, and then if you still share an area, you have close combat. But it's vague about close combat. So now it says no modifications for terrain or emplacements. Commandos open fire, so they follow the same procedure. The British follow the same procedure. If no British regiments or battalions in the area, remove Buller, Long, leaders, batteries from the area. Also remove as appropriate Baller, Dithers, Long gets moving, activated, all from the event cups. If leader eliminated, place token as anonymous replacement with nearest unit of his brigade. Survivors remain in area with boars in emplacements if present. So basically, you're firing, you fire again. But all of that's vague. You know, like, okay, where's the assault? There it is. But it says refer to the fire procedure chart. Both fire again in close combat. But that's about it. There's not a good explanation. Even here with see, it's all this little bit thing here. That's it. You know. See, I run into these little areas where it's like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, it doesn't say, it's not really, you're kind of unsure about, okay, the routed units. How are they treated? Like, this routed unit here has nowhere to go. They move first. Routed units move first. Well, the drift is blocked. So what do? Do they just stay there, or do they lose a strength? Or do they just get eliminated? You know? I don't know why they just didn't. Well, it doesn't matter. Sit here and complain, is not getting anything accomplished. Just know that if you do get this game, you're going to be tested. Okay? I'll just flat tell you straight. You're going to be tested. And if you enjoy being tested, then, hey, knock yourself out. I come across these little areas where I guess I think one way and they thought another. And it's just a struggle trying to figure out what is the proper way to do things. So I'll just continue to persevere because I do like this. I do like the game. I like a lot of the mechanics and procedures and so forth. But you know what I don't like? So there's some games that I've purchased that the rules were in such a state that I just like put it all up and put it up for sale. And I'm not doing that with this game. It's not got to that point. But it's just to the point where I'm frustrated with a few things. And somebody had commented that they I guess on the pre-order on Legion Wargames the website, the pre-order they have um, maybe a sister game, a game that uses the same system, and the individual thought it was going to be something that took place after this debacle, where the British were not able to relieve Ladysmith. They were stopped by the Boers. So I'm going to have to get on their website and take a look. I got on there and thinking, well, I can see it because this was 2016, 10 years. So something's happened. Well, COVID, of course, happened after this, but something's happened to stop the development, I guess, or slow the development um, of the series. So I'd definitely get the next game in the series um, with the hopes that they've cleaned up their rule set and done a better job of providing a clear, easy to understand rule set. So because the rules are really the most important part of the game. If you've got vague rules and you don't explain everything and you just expect the gamer to already have knowledge about how to do this or do that, your game's not going to be well received. People are not going to want to play it. And they're going to make comments, and that's going to lower your sales and lower the chance of adding to the game with another game with using the same similar rules. So just beware that of that. But I also would promote this game in the fact that it is interesting, has an interesting topic. It has I think, a very good-looking map. It's easy to understand what's on the map and the terrain and how to move around the map. So for all that, that's easy to understand. The counters are very good counters. They are pre-rounded. You don't have to clip them. They're colorful, easy to read, and they're thick. And you have the counters that you need. The charts are nice. The information on them are easy to understand. Now, I don't know why they gave you this fold out like this when they could have just done front and back. And, because you have just nothing on over here. So it is front and back. That's what it is. But why did they do that? Why did they divide it like that? It's connected. I don't understand why they did that. So, I can put this in a sleeve and it protects it. That's probably what I'll do. But the, terrain effects, that's very easy to understand. So here's some morale modifiers over here for the terrain and fire modifiers. They give you, I don't know why they're giving you this down here. There's their website. I want to go to their website. And then all of this is really nice. The nice color. It's easy to determine what goes with what here because it's the color code is changes. It's dark, light, so forth. Same thing here. So, top notch counters, map, charts. And for some reason, they didn't put enough emphasis and focus on the rules. You got all this color, and all of a sudden, bam, you got no color. You can download. Or maybe even, I don't know, maybe they have the living rules might be in color. Maybe I need to check the living rules to find out, hey, did they do a better job? Because this set here is better, but it's not this here that I printed off. It could use a lot of improvement, and it doesn't even have the counters, the images. There's no images of the counters in this one. So I'm just, I kind of harp a little bit so that I get my point across about how I feel about certain aspects of a game or how I just feel about a game. I'm not promoted, supported, funded. I don't receive free games. I'm not buddy with any of these people. I don't talk to any of them. They don't talk to me. And I'm fine with that. I'm really an introvert. So, I like just kind of being in my shell and making these videos and helping other players. Because there's not enough, there's not on YouTube or any other platform, there's not enough videos of playthroughs where I can go and say, hey, I want to see how this game is. There's reviews, okay, and unboxings. But that doesn't give you enough information. If you're going to pay $100-something for a game, you want to be able to test drive that sucker. And the only way you can do that is watch someone else play. And by playing is the only way you come across these issues. If you just open the box, you don't come across the issues of the rules. You've got to play the game and figure out, oh, heck, I can't play the game. I have to print off these cards and then cut them out and do all this, to be able to understand the game. And then, if I had someone that did that, then I would know immediately, okay, I'm going to have these cards. Or, hey, I don't know if I want that game. The rules are not very clear. I'm going to have to look at these charts and take this and go down step, with this, which is okay, but, it can get moved and it's bigger than, these are too small. I'm going to have to need like a magnifying glass. Most gamers, board gamers are older people. They've gone past their 40s, okay, or they're in their late 40s. Well, by that time, you're having to have bifocals or readers. So I wanted up, and this is really too small, but they had to put all this stuff, hey, I don't know who it was, but I'm grateful that they did this. And, I can get a magnifying glass up here. I can pull it up here like this. But this here, this is really amazing that someone, they must have had this game and thought, hey, there's got to be a better way than looking over here at these two charts. How about I just did some cards? And this is amazing. I think some other games could take this idea and run with it. where you just have these cards and you just go right down. And I'm sure there are other games that have that concept. Maybe that's where the person got the idea. I don't remember who it was that did this. You can look on that website that I'm not gonna mention. Okay, I'm not giving them publicity. You know, I'm only telling you to go over there is because you know that's where this is at. I'm not telling you to go over there and support that platform because I got banned for an argument with another individual. But the key thing was that individual was or is a game designer. How good they are, I have no clue. But because they're a game designer, and I guess they must have went and cry to the administration of the platform, then they didn't ask my point of view. It was not like I was just banned. And that's fine. I used to put videos up and make comments and do all kinds of stuff on that platform. But I don't have anything to do with it now, except, somebody might post something that I need over there. So I had to create a whole new profile with a different phone number to be able to get into some of that stuff. But all this stuff, man, I had years and years of content that I had loaded onto that platform that was available to players to look at. I had videos and all kinds of stuff. After action reports, all that kind of stuff. And but just the fact that you're just going to take one side and make a decision, and you're going to ban the other person, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. If you get in an argument with someone, it's between you and them. It doesn't have anything to do with the platform. So, at some point, if I can ever buckle down and get it done, I've got some game ideas. If I get some games, I'm not going to let them put that stuff up on their platform. Not that it's going to hurt them or anything, but I don't. It's just, they took a side based solely on the person was a designer, and I guess they didn't want to make that person mad. But I could do a whole video on that, or a couple of videos on that whole incident. That was several years ago. But I don't need that platform. And I've had stuff taken down on YouTube. If you followed me for any length of time, then you know that I feel very strongly about politics. And sometimes I just explode with things that are just inside of me that just they just build and build like a volcano. It's just stirring in there, and then finally it just erupts and it just goes everywhere. So I'm trying really difficult to keep that out of this this channel because I don't want to alienate anyone. And it's easy to do that with the way politics are nowadays. It's so easy to alienate. And I don't want to do that. I mean, I don't want to offend or because that's not where this should take place. If I want to do the political commentary, I need to create my political commentary platform, not platform, but profile, and leave that out of here because, you just don't want to. This is gaming. It's not, doesn't have anything to do with politics. There's politics in the situations and historically and so forth, but, there's no need to get into talking about politics with this. So, and there's some politics involved in that issue with that gaming platform that I'm not going to mention. Now, in the comments, there's a mention of what platform I'm talking about, but I'm not going to give them publicity on the video. So if you want to know where to find those, to get those cards, go look in the comments. I might even put it in down in the information regarding where it's at and so forth. Maybe I need to do that. But I ordered a book from Abe Books. I ordered a book over the Boer Wars, and I don't know. I haven't got it. I don't know why. But I'm gonna have to check on that because I want to be able to provide some historical background and information regarding all of that. All right, so enough of that. Dragged on another 20 minutes here talking about nothing. So we just finished with game turn 5. So we're going to be into game turn 6 in the next video. And I hope you're enjoying this. I know most people don't sit there and listen to the whole stinking video. And you can always, and I do that too on other people's videos. I will fast forward to get to certain spots and find out this or that. But hopefully you're enjoying this, a lot of these playthroughs so that you can at least see how some of these games are played and decide, hey, I want to throw down $100 on that, or $80 or $150, or it's ridiculous how some of these games have gone up and up and up and up. But I'm going to have to check to see what the next volume is. And, they don't, I guess they really don't have a series because they didn't come up with a series name, but they could all be still connected or use some of the same rules. So another game that I've seen over the Boer Wars is the Hill of Doves, and that's a Legion Wargames. And of course, I believe it kind of has like an operational side, and then it goes even to it like a kind of almost like I guess a strategic tactical side. But you really got to focus on logistics in that one. I've seen it played. I don't have that game, but I've watched there's a lot of good videos out there on Hill of Doves. This game, there's not too many. Most of them are unboxings. There is one gentleman that has done, or actually there's two. One did just showed just a portion of the battle. What just focusing on Hulangwan up here and taking it, and didn't really have. They had this artillery, I think, set here, but the units and stuff weren't. So basically, going to move up here, then try to get get through this drift here and get up toward Ladysmith. So it's only using a few units, not ever all the units. So just basically the units that are going in this direction. So the artillery here and the mounted troops and so forth. And then there's another gentleman that, well, I guess there's actually 3 separate videos. One is on Vassal. And although Vassal is good, I like to see the game played on using the actual map encounters and stuff. And there is a gentleman, he's got a real strong dialect, and I just used the closed caption to be able to understand. He's I would say, well, I can't even say. I mean, I'm not going to say because I might be wrong, but it's a very strong dialect that, for me, was I wear hearing aids, and a lot of times it's hard for me to hear speech. So, but he did a good job of just playing through, and so, but that's it. That's all that's out there that I could find on YouTube. There might be some on some of these other platforms, but on YouTube, there's only a couple. And, I like to be able to see several different players play. And that way you get a better idea about the game and whether it's going to be difficult to play or easy to play and so forth, because you have more than just one person. And I suggest you do the same thing. Don't just take my word about all of this, but go watch some of these other videos. And even if they have a review, check the review out to see, how they felt about it. Maybe some of them didn't have any problem with the rules. But I know I've played many, many different types of games over the years. Dadgum, almost 50 years of playing. Wow. Almost 50 years of gaming. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I probably started about 7 or 8 playing games. And when I'm saying games, I'm talking about more than just Monopoly and Risk and some of that kind of stuff. Cards and stuff like that. I got fascinated with war games pretty young. And, ended up playing mostly by myself. There for a few years. My brother would play with me, but he wasn't really that keen into that. He was into other things. He was more into fantasy and role-playing, stuff like that. So I've played these war games by myself. I've even played multiplayer games. I've played them by myself. Sometimes I find creative ways to create the other side and what they do, whether it be through charts or cards or dice or whatever. So it's nice to have these solo games, and you get to see how someone has created how your opponent is going to react and how you handle that. And it helps when you are, possibly doing the same thing with a non-solo game. So, all right. So the end of turn 5, we're going to go on to turn 6 in the next video. So come on back and check